everyone, this week I wanted to talk to you about abundance versus wealth. Wealth is like how much money you've got in the bank and how much wealth you've got, and you know, whether you're worrying about money or not, and like being kind of financially free. And abundance is like having that full circle life. So you know, you can be like really not a very abundant person but like have millions of pounds in the bank. You know, if you've got loads of money in the bank but you kind of don't feel a lot of love in your life, and you know, you just kind of, you don't feel really fulfilled and happy, then you're not very abundant. But you can be somebody who generally feels really good and has like a pretty amazing life but always feels a bit skint which makes you feel a bit stressed. So I think it's just important to kind of work on both. So first off, I think it's really important to be wealthy and have a really good relationship with money. Like, I think if you have thoughts like, you know, money is evil and all that, like you're never going to be kind of like financially free. And I think it's so important to be financially free, because when we kind of sort our finances out, we can do more good in the world. You know, we can help more charities, we can, you know, just kind of have more experiences with life, which ultimately I think can make us a happier person, which means we'll want to give more to other people. You know, we can create projects, we can create businesses which obviously employ people and give people work. Like, I think it's really important that we all become like kind of very wealthy and financially free. And wealthy to one person is very different to another. Some people just kind of want to be comfortable and pay their bills. Other people, wealthy would be having like an obscene amount of money. So I think it's just deciding what's for you and kind of not judging anybody's idea of kind of what wealthy is, and just making sure that you have a kind of positive mindset with money. Now, abundance is like when you kind of have all areas of your life kind of balanced and quite happy. So your finances are good, your mental health is really good, your relationships are good. It's all of them, because there's no point like having loads of money in the bank if you don't feel good. So I think it's just making sure that, you know, you work on both and you don't just work on wealth but then everything else in your life suffers from it, because you do see that happen a lot, that people put like money before other things and then they end up so miserable. And then you get people who kind of like, money's not important to me, you know, money's evil, money is like shows people's true colours, and I don't know, people have like really bad relationship with money. And at the end of the day, money is just like a tool we use to buy stuff. That's literally all it is. It doesn't have the ability to make somebody a good or a bad person. It can only highlight what's already there. Like it can't. It's like, it's just an object when you think about it. Like it has no control. Like, we're all in charge of our own lives. So I think that's the first thing. Like if you realise you've kind of got, if you find yourself saying something about money that's not very positive, I think it's learning to kind of reframe that. And you know, because otherwise I think you're always gonna like sabotage, like without realising, self-sabotage your ability to have money. Whether it's you're reckless with your spending, whether it's you don't allow money to come to you in the form of like manifestation or something, because you believe like it's the root of evil and it's going to bring bad things, or you think it's not very spiritual or whatever to have a lot of money, you think it's greedy, or you worry that money will change you or change other people, or you won't be able to trust people. I think it's just making sure that you kind of work on any of those things. Now, I must say, like, I'm not there yet, as in I'm not really wealthy. In fact, we have to work really hard to kind of be okay financially. But the reason I want to do this video is because I realised like I had a lot of these like kind of bad thoughts about money when I realised that wasn't good and it wasn't kind of helping us out, and that actually to have a lot of money is quite a sacred thing. Then I've been able to change things and been able to have a better relationship. So I think the first thing is just kind of realising if you don't have a lot of money, is there like any beliefs there that could be stopping that, and second of all, if you don't have a lot of money, what you can do about it. So what I've started doing is I've started really learning. I'm trying to learn as much as possible about money and feeling really inspired about money. So, and I think it's like money can be quite an overwhelming thing. Like people can think, oh, people have like, again, thoughts like I'm not very good with money, which again, if you believe that, then you're never going to be very good with money, and again, you're going to stop yourself from attracting money into your life. So for me, it's just kind of doing whatever you can with the tools you've got. So I started like watching YouTube videos on people who like helping people grow financial wealth. So there's one called Sugar Mama, I think she is based in Australia, and so sometimes her stuff is not necessarily relevant for people living in the UK, but I still found watching her videos, I got inspired and I took really positive action. So I think it's just making sure that first of all you find resources that can help you. In the UK we have like Martin Lewis, who kind of specialises in money and stuff, so it's just kind of finding free experts if you don't have any money to kind of go and get some help, and also finding out what kind of makes sense to you. So I'm a really spiritual person, so kind of really practical like stuff just bores me, doesn't excite me, I'm just not likely to do it. So I bought this book for one birthday, for my 30th actually, so I've had this book a while now, and this I found really, really good, called Money Love Story, and it's a very spiritual way of thinking about money, and it's really changed my whole beliefs with money. And actually, like, whilst we still have work to do to kind of live like quite a, you know, a financially free life, we're certainly like getting on the right track, and that was the start of it. Then I realised I needed something a bit deeper and really more sort of practical and stuff, so I'm now reading this one by Tony Robbins. It's quite a hard one to get your head around. I haven't finished reading it yet, but so far it's really got me thinking, and it's really, really good. So I think that's the thing, just kind of making sure that you're doing something. I think it's easy to say I'm not very good with money, I don't understand like stocks, I don't understand investments, blah blah blah, like, but then learn, like at least try, and then you can, at least if you've tried, you can say, oh, I can't do it. And you might not even need to know about any of those things. I haven't started investing or stocks or anything, but what I really took out of this book so far, and I haven't finished reading it, is that you don't need to bring in a lot of money to be financially free. I think that was my big hang up. I was like, I just don't bring in enough money. And basically Tony talks very much, like very strongly about, like, you know, people who barely had anything, came from anything, but they just got really, really clever with their money, kind of learned how to, you know, save it and spend it, and investments and stuff, and now they're like, some of the people in this book are like, you know, millionaire, billionaire people. Now you might not want to be a millionaire, billionaire, but I can guarantee you don't want to feel skinned. So I think just kind of look into people that are actually doing really well financially. And lastly, and most importantly, work on your abundance. So I'm really abundant in lots of areas of my life, with like love and all that, very, very abundant. But doesn't matter how much love you've got in your life, if you're worried about the purse strings, life can be very, very stressful. So just make sure everything. So when I say abundance, I mean like your love and your relationships in your life with like families, friends, then also your career. You know, if you don't feel like you're doing what you want to do, you need to change that because you're never going to feel happy. Also your health, so you know, physical health, mental health, your environment, your wellness, and then obviously wealth. So kind of work, just make sure in life you're always doing something to work on all four of those areas, and you'll lead a very, very good life. Don't just focus on one, and don't just make it wealth, because most people, I think, are like myself, that we don't focus on our finances because it's just not that important to us, but actually we need to make it important, because if we make it a priority, and I know like sometimes people see money as like a dirty word, as I say, we can do more good in the world. So I feel like, you know, now's the time that to just own your finances and to do something with them. That's it for me this week. I'll see you next week with a new video, and please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this, so I know whether to do more of these type of videos. Thanks, bye!